You are 25 years old and 500 quid feels like a massive amount of money to just give away every month. It isn't hard to explain why either. Rent is due on the flat. The motor needs a service. A mate is getting married in April, and you are expected to show up for the stag do, the rehearsal, and the big day itself. The 500 quid isn't just sitting there doing nothing. That money is already spoken for mentally before it even lands in your bank account. That is the condition most blokes in this country live inside of. Not broke, not wealthy, just spoken for. Every pound is claimed before it even hits your palm. You have heard about investing, of course. You have probably opened one of those fancy apps at some point, looked at the squiggly lines, felt a low-grade anxiety about doing something wrong, and closed it again. The options felt like a test you hadn't studied for back in school. Index funds, ETFs, expense ratios, and dividend reinvestment. The language wasn't designed to welcome a lad like you. It was designed for people who already knew what they were doing, which meant it was designed for people who already had a pile of cash. But something happened recently. A number crossed your feed. A projection. Someone showed what 500 quid a month becomes over 30 years at a historically average market return. The number was large enough that you looked at it twice. Large enough that you felt something between disbelief and a specific kind of grief. The grief of someone who has just understood that time is the one resource you can never, ever earn back once it's gone. That number is where this story begins. The first thing you need to understand is what 500 quid a month actually is before it becomes anything else. It is $6,000 a year. It is less than what most people spend annually on takeaways and pints. It is less than the average finance payment on a shiny new motor. The point isn't to shame you. The point is that 500 quid a month is a real number that exists inside a real budget. The question of whether it becomes invested capital or just more lifestyle spending is a decision made once. Then it's repeated automatically month after month until that decision has compounded into an outcome. You decide to start, not because you have a perfect plan, but because you realize that not starting is also a decision, and that decision has a cost too. The cost of not starting is invisible, mate. It doesn't show up on a bank statement or arrive as a bill in the post. It accumulates silently in the distance between what you will have and what you could have had. And you won't see that distance clearly until it is far too late to close the gap. You set up a standing order. 250 quid goes into a stocks and shares ISA on the first of the month. 250 goes into a personal pension on the 15th. The mechanism is running. The habit has a structure now. The structure will do work that your motivation alone never could. You are 3 months in and nothing dramatic has happened. The account shows a number that is only slightly larger than what you put in. The market moved up a little, then it moved down a little. The net result looks like absolutely nothing. This is the part where most blokes stop. Not because they are irresponsible, but because the human brain isn't built to find meaning in small, invisible progress. The brain responds to signals and evidence that the effort is working. And in the first year of consistent investing, the feedback is basically non-existent. The money you didn't spend is now 1,600 quid in an account. Meanwhile, the money you would have spent would have been gone permanently. That distinction is real, even when it doesn't feel real. The 1600 is working for you. The spent cash is not. The difference between those two outcomes won't be visible for years. You do not touch the account. This is harder than it sounds when you're living in a cab. A mate mentions a holiday. A sale appears on a new telly. Or the lorry needs a new part you didn't plan for. Every one of those events creates a reason to stop or to redirect the money back toward its old purpose. You do not stop. You treat that standing order the way you treat your rent or your tacho breaks. It is not optional. It is not subject to negotiation. It leaves your account on schedule regardless of what else is happening. This decision, which feels minor in month 3, is the most important financial move you will make this decade. You are 1 year in and the account holds over 6,000 quid. The market returned roughly 7%, adding a few hundred to the principal you contributed. The number isn't impressive yet, but you have built a base. A base isn't exciting, but it's what everything else is built on top of. You also did something else during this year that you didn't fully realize. You changed your relationship to 500 quid. The month before you started, that money felt necessary, claimed, and already gone. Now it doesn't feel like you're being deprived. It feels like infrastructure. You adjusted your lifestyle and recalibrated around the new number. This is the inverse of lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the most powerful moves available to a normal person. You contracted your lifestyle to fit a smaller number, and you didn't even feel the pinch the way you feared you would. That adjustment is worth more than the $6,000 in the account. The account can be rebuilt if something goes wrong, but the habit of living below your income is something that cannot be bought. It has to be built 1 month at a time until it becomes the default setting. You are 3 years in and the account holds just over 21,000 quid. Something has shifted in how you look at the number now. It no longer feels like a savings account for a rainy day. It feels like a second income that you haven't officially met yet. The balance is generating returns on returns. Each layer of money is growing at a different rate because each layer has been in the market for a different length of time. This is what compound interest actually looks like from the inside. It isn't a chart or a projection anymore. It is a real account with a real balance that is growing faster than the rate at which you are adding to it. You are 5 years in and the account holds approximately 42,000 quid. You have contributed 30,000 of your own money over those 5 years. The remaining 12,000 is the market's contribution. Your money has generated 12,000 pounds that required no labor from you, no additional hours on the road, no second job, no side hustle. It required only that you did not touch what you started. 12,000 produced by consistency and time. You also notice your financial anxiety has changed. You aren't anxious about the account fluctuating because you have watched it move for 5 years and it always recovered. The market dropped 11% in 1 quarter and you felt it, but you didn't sell. You understand now that the market doesn't reward the smartest bloke. It rewards the most patient one. You are 10 years in and you have crossed the 100,000 pound mark. That threshold matters psychologically in a way that is difficult to describe. Below 100,000, the account feels like a savings vehicle. Above it, the account begins to feel like a system that is running independently of your daily decisions. The returns in a single good year now exceed 7,000 quid. You are contributing 6 grand annually, which means the account is now generating more than you are putting in. The crossover point has arrived. From this point forward, you are no longer the primary engine of growth. The compounding is doing the heavy lifting. Your 500 quid a month still matters, but the money already in the account is doing more work than the money you are adding. You have built something that works without you. You are 15 years in, and the account holds 200,000 quid. You started with zero and a simple decision. The decision wasn't a stroke of genius. It was just 500 quid a month, left alone in a low-cost index fund. The secret is that you did it when the payoff was invisible. You kept doing it when the payoff was small, and you did not stop when the market made it uncomfortable. You are 20 years in, and the account holds over 300,000. The growth curve has bent upward in a way that is now visible to everyone. You are 30 years in, and the account holds approximately 567,000 pounds. Over 500,000 quid produced by one decision made at 25. You contributed 180 grand of your own money. The market contributed nearly 400,000. For every pound you put in, the market returned over 2 quid on top of it. That isn't magic. It is arithmetic applied to time. You think about the lad you were at 25, staring at an app and feeling worried. That lad made one right move, a consistent one. The consistency across the decades is what turned 500 quid into a fortune. Somewhere in this country, a young driver is looking at his bank account right now. He has 500 quid that is not yet spoken for. He doesn't know it yet, but he is making a £500,000 decision. Start before you are ready, mate. The 30 years will pass regardless of what you do. The only question is, what is in the account when they are over? If this bit of real talk helped you see the road ahead, drop a like on the video, subscribe for more tales from the tarmac and advice that actually counts, and let me know in the comments, what is the best financial habit you've ever started? Stay disciplined. Keep your eyes on the long game and keep the shiny side up. Over and out.